Peppa Pig's Mother's Day Horror. It was the morning of Mother's Day, and Peppa Pig was excited. She had prepared a surprise for Mommy Pig. Flowers, a card, and a handmade breakfast. But as Peppa entered the kitchen, she saw something that wasn't right. Mommy Pig was sitting at the table. Her face was pale and her hands were shaking. Peppa Pig's father, Daddy Pig, was trying to comfort Mommy Pig. "Are you okay, Mummy?" Peppa asked with concern. "I'm fine, Peppa. Just a little tired," Mommy Pig replied, forcing a smile. But her eyes, they weren't the same. There was a coldness in them, something that made Peppa Pig sad. Peppa came up with excuses for her mother. She thought maybe Mommy Pig was just tired from the busy week. She had no idea this was the start of something terrifying. As the day went on, Mommy Pig's condition worsened. She seemed distant, almost ghostly. Every time she moved, Peppa noticed something strange about her belly. Later that afternoon, Peppa Pig and George Pig went to play outside. The sun was setting, and the darkness was spreading faster than usual. Peppa noticed that her Mommy Pig had disappeared from the house. Daddy Pig was nowhere to be found either. Curious, Peppa went upstairs to look for her parents. When she reached the bedroom, she froze in horror. The door creaked open, and inside, Mommy Pig was standing in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection. But her reflection wasn't the same. It was distorted. Peppa gasped. She was frightened. In the mirror, Mommy Pig's belly was moving, twitching, as if something inside was alive. The faint sound of evil whispers could be heard through the room. "Mommy Pig is pregnant," Peppa thought to herself. "Peppa, stay back!" Mommy Pig suddenly snapped, her voice sounding evil and unfamiliar. At this moment, Peppa Pig decided to take a see no evil, hear no evil approach. Peppa quietly took a few steps back. However, when she tried to run, her feet felt glued to the floor. The room was dark. There was a dark presence there, and its shadows seemed to wrap around Mommy Pig. A figure began to appear in the corner of the room, barely visible, but something was definitely there. It was tall, thin, and had glowing red eyes. Peppa Pig was horrified. "What is that?" she whispered. Mommy Pig turned to face her, her eyes now wide and wild. "It's not what you think, Peppa. I've been chosen. We've all been chosen." Terrified, Peppa Pig ran to find Daddy Pig. When she reached the living room, she couldn't find him. Only the faint echo of his voice could be heard, but it didn't sound like him. His voice was muffled and distorted, as if something else was speaking through him. "Daddy Pig?" Peppa whispered, tiptoeing cautiously. From behind the couch, Daddy Pig emerged, but his eyes were blank. His gaze was evil and horrifying. His skin was pale and he moved strangely, like a puppet controlled by unseen strings. "Peppa, you shouldn't have come," he said in a voice that wasn't his. Peppa screamed and ran outside. She didn't ask Daddy Pig any further questions like in the movies. No, Peppa Pig saw something scary and ran. But the once cheerful world she knew was no longer the same. The sky was dark, and there was a thick fog in the atmosphere. From behind her, she heard the sound of footsteps. Slow, creeping footsteps. Peppa turned to see her mother standing at the door, but Mummy Pig was no longer her usual self. Her body was distorted, her stomach swollen in unnatural ways, and she was smiling, but it wasn't a friendly smile. It was a chilling, malicious grin. "You can't escape, Peppa," Mummy Pig said in a voice that made Peppa absolutely terrified. It's already too late. Peppa Pig ran into the woods, hoping to find some help. The more she ran into the creepy woods, the more dense the trees seemed to be. They closed in on her, blocking her path. Suddenly, she was surrounded by other figures, scary, twisted versions of her friends and neighbors in Peppa Pig world. Their eyes glowed red. Their faces were all pale and lifeless. It was as if they were all part of a dark ritual, one that Peppa didn't understand, but knew she had to stop. From the shadows, a voice whispered to her, "The Peppa Pig new baby is coming." The ritual must be completed. Peppa turned to see a scary-looking dark figure step forward. It was the same figure she had seen earlier, the one in the corner of her mother's room. This time it spoke directly to her. "Mommy Pig is pregnant. The birth of the Peppa Pig new baby is inevitable. You cannot stop it, Peppa. It will come, and when it does, everything will change." In a panic, Peppa raced back home, determined to confront her mother. When she reached the house, everything seemed quiet. Too quiet. She opened the door slowly, and the terror she saw inside the house made her even more frightened. Mummy Pig was lying on the floor, surrounded by strange symbols drawn in blood. Her body was shaking, and she had given birth to the Peppa Pig new baby. But what crawled out of Mummy Pig was evil, a creature born from darkness. It was a horrifying, twisted version of Peppa Pig with black, empty eyes and sharp, jagged teeth. But the real horror came when Peppa realized the truth. The creature wasn't just Mummy Pig's baby. It was a demon, and Peppa herself was part of the ritual. She had been chosen to be the next vessel, the next sacrifice. "You were born for this, Peppa," the creature hissed, its voice a mixture of Mummy Pig's voice and something far darker. "You are the key to the ritual's completion." Peppa's heart pounded in her chest as she had never heard a new baby speak before. But she knew her in the Peppa Pig shadow world. Anything was possible. The room began to shake. With no escape in sight, Peppa Pig's world crumbled. The walls of her house collapsed, and the earth beneath her feet split open. The creature, the Peppa Pig new baby, moved closer. Peppa had one last choice to make. In the blink of an eye, she made her decision. She chose to become the vessel for the dark forces, to carry on the curse that had haunted her family for generations. Peppa Pig chose to be a hero. As the creature merged with her, Peppa's scream could be heard all through the Peppa Pig world. And so, the horror of Peppa Pig's Mother's Day was complete. The town was never the same again. The story of Peppa Pig, once full of joy and innocence, had taken a dark turn. No one would ever forget the Peppa Pig Mother's Day horror, the day the family became part of something far more terrifying than anyone could imagine. The Peppa Pig new baby had changed everything. Subscribe to the channel for more Peppa Pig horror videos. Click the playlist for more Peppa Pig scary stories.